Well, we're here with Rob Merritt, legendary television personality and newscaster, and he's here as an MC for the Village Car Show. Rob, tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
This is the 4th annual car show, and it's a really great event this year because the new car club has gotten involved. So we have probably twice as many vehicles this year. Lots of great cars, lots of renovation, lots of really neat paint jobs and neat engines and all. It's been a lot of fun. I think it's a chance for residents to get to meet folks who have a similar interest, which is kind of what this community is all about. If you want to play golf or play bridge or whatever, you can find people that want to do what you want to do. This happens to be people interested in cars.
And it's such a surprise. I mean, I know some of these folks. I have interactions with them, and I'm looking at them and thinking, when do you have the time to be working on this fabulous automobile?
Right. And, of course, a lot of the people here don't even have garages. They have carports. So maybe they're parking it somewhere else, we don't know. But they do a great job, and the winners were fantastic, and all the cars really were very beautiful today, really nice.
Yes, yes. Well, it's great. It was a great turnout today. It's a beautiful day, and we're happy to see everybody out here participating, and we're just real happy to be meeting you, and we're so glad that you're here, and hope that you can come back and do a lot of other things with us.
Great. And you've been really busy doing interviews, I understand, as well, so
Yep.
I know the residents are seeing you on Channel 6.
Yep. Thank you so much,
Great.
Rob. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And we're speaking now with Paul Derrickson, and we're standing in front of his beautiful 1965 Mustang. Paul, could you tell us a little bit about your beautiful Mustang?
Well, I've had it for about 35 years. It was the third Mustang that I restored. And at the time I found this one, it's a little bit special because it's a K code, which is the high performance version. 65 that Carroll Shelby got to make GT350s out of. So being that this is a K-code vehicle makes it a little bit special. And so I still have it 35 years later.
My goodness, now, do you ride this on the street?
When I can on the weekends, it's a fair weather vehicle now. It's strictly for pleasure, and I get a lot of pleasure out of it.
Now, do you spend time working on it? And you said restored it, but do you work on it mechanically and that sort of thing?
Yeah, the mechanics, it was in good shape when I purchased it. Back 35 years ago, it was gutted and sort of on the racetrack. But I brought it back to street legal, put all of the personal properties back in it, and then had the motor professionally built, and then I've installed it with some buddies and do as much as I can myself.
You really enjoy this, don't you?
It's a hobby, one of many, but it's nice to have a beautiful piece of finished equipment.
Yes. Now, I know you have another vehicle. You have a Ford truck, don't you? That's a real beauty.
Yeah, I have a 1954 F100 pickup truck that side by side, they look beautiful together. They shouldn't part.
Oh, so if you ever were to sell them, you'll sell them as a pair, right?
Well, they're hard to get rid of. Once I have something, I tend to hang on to them.
Now, you live here in Laguna Woods, and I know you from another hobby that you have, but it's not really a hobby. You are a master jeweler, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been called that. Yeah, I'm a jeweler by trade, goldsmith, setter, and then I have my own designs that I sell. And the Clubhouse floor is a beautiful place, art area for me to do my craft and my hobby. And then the vehicles are another aspect of my meticulous behavior.
That's right. And I think having a car and restoring a car like this really lends itself to meticulous behavior, doesn't it?
It tends to. The price book suffers a bit, but the pocketbook, I should say. But it's nice to have something larger than what's needed to look under a microscope.
Yes.
So having a car doesn't require a microscope.
That's great. Well, thank you for spending some time. I hope you have a really great show today. I see a lot of people are attracted to your car, and they're spending time talking to you, so we won't keep you. But thanks for spending some time with us today, Paul.
Well, thanks for spending time with me. Let me talk about my car.
So now we're speaking with Bob Truitt, and he's standing in front of his fabulous 55 hot rod muscle car, Bel Air Chevy. Bob, tell us a little bit about this fabulous car of yours.
Well, thank you. Other than it being red, it's a real hot rod. The engine's a large engine with a lot of horsepower, and we actually made it to go fast. So we got fortunate enough to maybe take it to the racetrack last week, and we were able to give it a run and enjoy it, see if everything holds up.
Yep.
So a few things happened. No parts fell off the car, and we went pretty fast. So we were happy.
Yeah, and I understand you had some success?
Yeah, 6 times. We got to race against 6 different vehicles, and we won every race. It wasn't that we were trying, but we were just having that much fun, and we had a good time and won every race.
Well, that's a good first time out for your racing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Truly fun.
Now, you said to me, because I asked you if you drove down to the races, they were some distance away, and you said no, you transported the car on a trailer because of the fuel. Could you talk about that?
The fuel, yeah. It's a high octane fuel, about 115, 116 octane. It's expensive. It's about $15 a gallon. So the car is miles per gallon, not miles per gallon.
Miles per gallon, yes.
So for that reason, we really can't drive it very far. It's not affordable, but we tow it or trailer it to a destination, or if it's a local place like going to get a gallon of milk, we'll take it for that.
Oh, that's great. I bet it attracts a lot of attention for sure.
It does.
Now, also, you said that you purchased this car from a Laguna Woods resident.
A resident, yes. It was. It had a Laguna Woods Village sticker on the window.
Already.
Yeah. It's a friend of ours that was moving on with his life, and the stars were lined up for my wife and I, and it was actually, she turned out to get it for me for a birthday present.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And one thing led to another, and we put some wax on it and made it our own.
Yeah, you put a lot of wax on it. This is a fabulous color, and now you said this was painted, 16 years ago?
I believe so, yes. The gentleman that we purchased the vehicle from had the paint done himself, I believe in the early 2000s.
Wow.
So, and it polishes up really nice, and it's a beautiful car.
Yeah, it is, and it gives you a lot of enjoyment. And as you say, you can take it out for short drives, and you take it out racing. And what else are you going to be doing with it besides showing it? You've shown it a couple of places, right?
Well, oh yeah, we've taken it to San Clemente, Laguna Beach, Costa Mesa, the fairground, cruising for a cure.
Cruising for a cure.
Wonderful car shows, and they're all for a good cause.
Dana Point.
And but the thing, we're just enjoying the sport. Meeting a lot of people, the camaraderie between fellow hot rodders and car people, it's amazing.
Yes.
And it's just nonstop joy.
Yes. Good.
We're having a lot of fun with it.
Good. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Bob. We really appreciate it, and your car is beautiful, and we love learning about it. And I hope you have a great show today.
Thank you. We're having a
Of
great time.
course. Thank you. We're talking now with Tom Scheel, and we're standing in front of his magnificent 1934 Packard. It is one stunning automobile. Now, Tom, please tell us the sort of story that you told me about when you purchased this car.
Well, I had always wanted an open Packard, but never figured it was in my price class to ever get one. Well, I had just graduated as an engineer about 3 years before, and always got these car magazines advertising cars for sale. Well, this one car was for sale in South Carolina, and it had been given up restoring it by the present owner. He had taken it all apart and gave up putting it back together. And I figured, well, I'm an engineer, although I'm not a mechanical engineer. I figured I can do that in 2 years. So I bought the car in pieces, and the lady across the street says, "What's your husband going to do with all that junk?" And my wife said, "That's not junk, that's a Packard." So after 11 years of work, I finally got most of it done, and it came out pretty good. But I never figured it was going to take 11 years. Probably it's like having kids. You know, should I really have like a couple of kids? You know, after they're grown up, it's fine. But So this car has grown up in the family. All the kids grew up with it over the almost 50 years that I've owned the car.
Oh my goodness. So you piled the whole family in and drove around town in this magnificent car.
We did, and we even drove it up to Hearst Castle a couple of years. So we got the kids in the car all the way up to Hearst Castle and back.
Now, I asked you about the color, and this is not one of those vehicles that was available only in black. What did you say about this color?
Packard had a list of colors, about 15 different colors. But best as I can tell, the original color was this grayish green. I found a little bit of colors when I took the car apart, even more. But with a Packard, if you're going to pay almost $3,000 for a Packard compared to $500 for a Chevy or something like that, you could almost ask the dealer, I will like this color, and he would paint it for you. They would say, yes, sir, yes, sir. What color do you want? Do you want it pink or do you want it green? What do you want? And so you can have it painted any color you want. So it's a true color that could have been available in 1934.
Yes. Okay, because the average car was being sold in 1934 at what price?
Fords and Chevys, you could get a good Ford or a Chevy for about $500. So when this one was for sale for $3,000, that was a big jump. Plus, it was during the Depression, okay? And being an open car, it was even less desirable because it was sold in New Jersey, where it gets a little cool in the winter. So not many people were out there to buy an open Packard.
You got a real deal on that one, didn't you?
Real deal.
And so you've shown it in other shows, I'm assuming?
Yes, we've had it in a number of the concourse events locally here in Southern California, and we do pretty well. But some of the things that I did 50 years or so ago are showing their age, so I don't do perfect, but we do okay. But the enjoyment is owning the car and driving it, and basically talking to people that come and tell us their stories about their cars that they had. That's the interesting part of going to car shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you're attracting a lot of attention today. People are just swarming to your car because it's just so beautiful, and all your work is being appreciated. And we can't thank you enough for talking to us today, Tom.
Well, it's been great talking to you and meeting more people.
Yes, good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Don't let spine, knee, or hip pain get in the way of your day-to-day activities. Find yourself back on the golf course or continue playing with your grandchildren pain-free. With the latest advancements in stem cell treatment techniques, we can transform the way you look and feel today. I'm Dr. Bidai, a double board certified pain management specialist. Stop by or call our office today to see if you're a candidate for stem cell therapy.
Introducing the all-new Suburban Cadillac Buick GMC of Costa Mesa, where you'll find more than just your friendly neighborhood dealership. With over 50 stores nationwide, we are the only Suburban location in California, and we're here for you. Whether you're looking to buy or lease a new vehicle, or would simply like to service your existing Cadillac, Buick, or GMC, we are here for all of your automotive needs. Visit us in person, only 15 minutes from Laguna Woods Village, or online.
And now we're speaking with Jim Matthews, and we're standing in front of his fabulous 1961 Studebaker Lark 7?
8.
8! Oh my gosh, where was I? I missed a year. So tell us about your fabulous car, Jim.
Okay, I bought it in 2005 for $100. It was a basket case, all rusted out, barely ran. And I thought I'd just get it running, and one thing led to another, and this is what I wound up with. It's got a new Chevrolet V8 engine in it, headers, high performance in every way, an automatic transmission, four-wheel disc brakes, air conditioning. It'll pass anything but a gas station.
Oh, okay. Now, did you do a lot of the work yourself on it?
This was done by a speed shop in San Diego, JBA Racing in San Diego. My son used to work for them, and they do fabulous work. And I just got it out of the paint shop from being repainted after someone rear-ended me. And that was done by South County Auto Body, who did wonderful work.
You're getting a lot of commercials in today.
That's right. I'm proud of the people that do the work for me.
I'm just teasing. But I see you around a lot, so I know that you drive this car every day, don't you?
That's correct. It's not going to be a show winner, but I have such fun with it. And for every man that talks to me about my car, 10 beautiful women do, so that's why I keep it.
There you go. Well, I think it's beautiful. And as I say, every time I see you around the village, it puts a smile on my face. So, it's great.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for talking to us today, Jim. We really appreciate it, and we love your car. And keep driving around. I enjoy seeing you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Okay. And now we're standing in front of Walt Hurd's beautiful 1968 Cord. And Walt, I want to ask you, you said this is different from the original model of the Cord. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, the original Cord was built in 1936 and 37. When they went out of business, the company languished for a long time. And a guy in the 60s bought the Auburn Cord Duesenberg company and decided to collaborate with the original designer of the Cord, Gordon Burig, to design this tribute model. So it's a little bit smaller than the original, but it's got all the same characteristics. And actually, the designer Gordon decided or said that he liked the proportions of the smaller one better than the other one because it was a big car.
Yes, I remember the Cord from old photos and old movies and so forth. And it was a very long car, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very long. It was, I think the wheelbase was 125 inches. This is only like 105 or something. Yeah.
It's a beautiful, and the doors open in a unique way too, don't they?
Well, they call them suicide doors because if you ever opened it when you're going down the road, it's probably all over for you.
Oh, most likely. But the engine, is the engine the one that came with the car, or have you modified it in some way?
No, this is the way it was built in the factory. It was built in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, actually. So this is the original motor.
I see.
They built 110, I think I said, of these cars.
Wow. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That few?
Yeah.
And how long have you had this?
I've had it for about 2.5 years. I had one about 15 years ago, and I guess I still like to have it.
Oh. Now, do you have other cars too? Because I'm finding that once you're a car enthusiast, you kind of want to have more than one.
Well, I have that Pontiac that's over there, the 09.5 retractable hardtop. And then I have a classic motorhome, a Cortez motorhome. And it's really old too, so. All my stuff is old.
Oh. Well, no, they're not old. They're vintage, and besides, and they're beautiful, and they're well worth spending time on. I think, as is true of all vintage things.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting us speak to you today, and let us look at your car. We're going to put a real nice, clear shot of your car with our camera, so we can get a really good look at it. So thanks for sharing your automobile with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks. Been fun.
And now we're speaking with Brad Martin, and we're standing in front of his beautiful 1952 MG. And this car is owned by both Brad and his wife, Jackie Martin. Now, Brad, can you tell us a little bit about this beautiful car?
Well, this car came from my interest. I was a young kid. I saw the design when I was little. I always loved it. I always thought it was the prettiest car design ever made. And I determined to get one. When I was 19, I got one. I drove it for 38 years. It was burned in a house fire in 2003, and this is the replacement, and I got this last year. And this one is a little bit better set up than the old car. This has a modern drivetrain in it and disc brakes, some safety features that I really like. So we drive it regularly, and it's fun, and I still think it's the nicest design ever for a sports car.
Well, it is. It's a beautiful car, and I think we all remember an MG somewhere in our life, whether we saw it in the movies or we had a personal experience with an MG. It's a fabulous car. It's a unique, one-of-a-kind automobile, so I can imagine how much you enjoy it. But you drive it around town?
Yeah, not just around town. We drive it on the Coast Highway. So our range is kind of like San Clemente up to Newport Beach, Seal Beach, anywhere we can get on the Coast Highway. Or any place that we can go. We go up Santiago Canyon, which turns into Chapman. We go Orange Street Fair or, some places like that. I don't take it on the freeway. There's just too many cars now, so we don't take it on the freeway as much.
Boy. Well, you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Now, do you work on it at all? Is there anything that you do mechanically?
I used to do all my work on my old MG. This car, I do some because I like to keep it up, but it's just maintenance stuff. I don't do any mechanical on it, and I'll have to make that decision if it ever happens. Right now, it's doing fine and running fine, so I'm happy.
Leave it alone.
Yep.
Do you show it regularly? I know that you're here in this show, but do you go other places?
No, actually, I like this little show right here. But, if I take it to an MG gathering, there's 50 of them. It's not as much fun. I bring it here, there's one of them or two maybe. And if I take it driving, which is really what we do with it, we just take it driving. We go on dates and stuff like that.
Aw.
And, then it's kind of like by itself, and people, they get a smile out of it, and it's fun to drive. I mean, I recommend it. You really ought to try it.
Yes. No, I imagine people are waving at you all over the place. Yes, well, that's wonderful. Well, we thank you so much for showing us your beautiful car today and spending some time letting us know a little bit more about it, Bob. Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed being here, and it's a fun little car. Thanks.
So now we're speaking with Paul Kratzer, and he has this beautiful Valiant. It's a 1960 Valiant, and it has a wonderful, marvelous story. It's the first of many innovations. And Paul, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, in the late 50s, the European car makers were bringing small cars into the U.S. market. And in 1960, GM and Ford and Chrysler needed to respond with their own small car.
Right.
And this is Chrysler's first small car. It's 2 feet shorter than the Chryslers before it.
Now, what I noticed is that they were trying to, design-wise, make it have a big car feel because it has fins and it has all these other features that make you feel like it's a big car, but it's a small car.
Yes, they wanted that was their selling point. That this is a compact car. You're going to get better mileage, and it's going to be more economical, but it's going to feel like a big car.
Yes.
And this engine is slanted a little bit to the right to create more space in here. So it's a more powerful engine because the manifolds are down underneath it.
Is that the first slant six?
Yes, it's the first of the slant sixes. And it also creates more space in the passenger area. So you've got a small car that feels like a big car, and that was their big selling point. Wow. And they could put the fins on to make it kind of look like a bigger car, feel like a bigger car, drive like a bigger car.
Yes, well, because we needed to adjust very slowly down from those monster cars that we had in the 50s, didn't we?
That's right, that's right.
Did these sell a lot of these cars?
They sold about 150,000 of them.
Oh, so we were ready for this.
Yes, it seems like it. Yeah, and they had quite a marketing campaign. I've got some of their original marketing materials here. And they had quite a campaign.
That's quite amazing. Well, this is a great car. Do you drive it around, Paul?
I drive it on the weekends.
Yeah.
It runs pretty good.
Yeah.
I do drive it. I could drive it every day if I wanted to, but I drive it on the weekends. Keep it running.
Well, it's a great little car. We're glad that you brought it today, and I'm so happy to be able to talk with you and get a greater understanding of the importance of the Valiant in our automotive history.
All right. Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you.